Hi, this is Phil from PDQ Merch Enterprises and ATM Mastermind Group page, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the top 5 industry terms so you guys can understand the ATM business and all the terminology. Always remember, here at PDQ Merch Enterprises and ATM Mastermind Group page, we buy your freedom back one transaction at a time. Don't forget to join the ATM Mastermind Group page that's free to join for like-minded individuals just like yourself who want to learn a little bit more about the ATM business and be in a community of other ATM like-minded business owners such as yourself. Don't forget, we have the ATM A to Z book that teaches you from A to Z how to be successful in the ATM business. I took over 20 years of experience. I put it all in this little book for your nighttime reading pleasure. This will really help you guys out and learn a lot about the business for a very inexpensive price. We also have, if you guys want to take a deeper dive, the ATM A to Z course, the masterclass course that teaches you from A to Z how to be successful in the ATM business. We also have, in the document vault, we have location agreements, vault cash agreements, service agreements, and mobile ATM agreements. So if you guys want to learn a lot in a short amount of time at your own viewing pleasure, buy the ATM A to Z course. And without further ado, the top 5 industry standard terms for the ATM business. Industry term number 1 is processor. What's a processor? I don't understand, Phil. Okay, so here's what happens is you have your card, you put it in the ATM. What happens is it dials the processor and it lets the processor know, hey, this card is good and this card is bad. What happens is it dials the processor now routes it to a bank. On the back of your card, you'll see Visa, Cirrus, Pulse, Nice, one of those card brands. It'll route it to that bank. It'll check to see if there's enough money to dispense the funds. If there is, then it will send the message back to the processor. The processor sends the message back to the ATM and dispenses the fund. And that's how the whole process works. It usually take about 29 seconds on dial-up. Now that whole process takes about 4 seconds on internet, or they call it TCP/IP, and or a mobile or cellular device that you put into your ATM. So that whole process works, and that is referred to the processor. Now, some of the brand names you'll hear in the processing industry are going to be CDS or Columbus Data. Okay, Columbus Data is owned by Cardtronics. Or you hear Switch Commerce. Switch Commerce is its own entity, they're just a processor. Or you might hear FIS. FIS is pretty much for national banks, but PAI, they process through FIS. So there are also other processors out there, but those are some of the major ones. There used to be Elon and there used to be WorldPay. Those have since merged and sold off to other processors. And there's also First ISO and EFX. Those are also processors, so you might hear those terms, First ISO and EFX. And there's a few other processors very good in the business, but those are some of the major ones. So now you guys know what a processor is, and you heard some of the brand names in the processing space. Number 2 is ISO. So what is an ISO? An ISO is an independent sales organization. That's a person basically just like we're a company, just like PDQ Merch Enterprises, PAI, Cardtronics. Those are ISOs, and what they are is they have to register with their networks. We register, we have a sponsor bank. Each one of those has a sponsor bank, and we have to register through our sponsor bank to contract through Visa, MasterCard, Nice, Cirrus, Pulse. If you look at the back of your debit card, there's brands on there. We have to contract with those banks to process your transactions. How we do that is we register with a sponsor bank, and we do all our due diligence. Every year we get audited, make sure that we're doing everything above board. But this is how you can process your transactions. Now, some people say, well, can I just go directly to the processor? No, you're supposed to go through an ISO. That's how you do it. So you go through us, and then we bring you to the networks. A lot of times we'll tell you, hey, we do process the transactions, but you have to come through us to get through into the processor. It's the only way it's done. Number 3 is sponsor bank. So we just alluded to what a sponsor bank is in point number 2. So a sponsor bank basically holds us accountable, that we make sure that we do everything as an ISO above board and transparent. We have a certain level of due diligence that we have to do with everybody who brings an ATM to our network. We have to make sure they are who they say they are. We have to vet those people. We also have a ton of paperwork that we have to make sure that we file in guidelines of the networks, of the networks would be Visa, MasterCard, Sears, Pulse, and we have to make sure that we follow all those guidelines. So that's what a sponsor bank is somebody who vets us and makes sure that we do what we're supposed to say we do for the ATM people just like you. Number 4, agent or IAD. Now an agent is somebody who basically, if somebody comes to us and says, Phil, we want to get an ATM business, we consider them an agent. They used to be called, back in the day, it was called a sub-ISO. Now we refer to that as an agent or IAD, which is an independent ATM deployer. So you might have heard IAD term, you might have heard sub-ISO, you might have heard agent. So that is what those people are. It's somebody who owns the ATM, but not necessarily is sponsored by a sponsor bank and has not contracted through the networks, but is deploying ATMs, is in the ATM business, just not registered through the networks. Unless you want to be registered, then you're an ISO. And number 5 is merchant or location owner. Now, what a merchant is where you're going to place your ATM. So we could call it a store, a gas station, convenience store. We refer to that in this ATM space as the merchant, okay? Or a lot of people just say it's the location, but all hotels, gas stations, convenience stores, FEC centers, dispensaries, whatever it is, it's what we call the location owner or the merchant. So now you know some of the basic principles and the basic terminology, so you guys can kind of understand, hey, they were using this term, now Phil, thank you very much. Now I understand what's going on and how it works. So thank you guys very much. Make sure to join the ATM Mastermind group page. That's free to join for like-minded individuals just like yourself who want to learn a little bit more about the ATM business and be in a like-minded community of other ATM business owners. Don't forget, here at PDQ Merchant Enterprises, we sell ATMs, we process transactions, and we sell parts. So if you need anything from A to Z, just like our course, we can help you in the game. We can get you some of that residual income month after month, day after day, so we can elevate you to get to the next level for you and your family. So I want to thank you guys very much. Don't forget to hit that smash button down below, and I'll see you guys over at the ATM Mastermind group page. Thank you very much.